Is Kentucky Kingdom in Louisville, Kentucky worth it? We're going to talk about it today in this week's episode. Hello, guys. Welcome in. We are going to talk about Kentucky Kingdom in Louisville, Kentucky today and our experience, and if it's worth your time and money, or if it's worth our time and money, if it's worth anyone's time and money. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about the good, we'll talk about the bad, and then at the end, we'll tell you if we think it's worth it.
Honestly, I was really excited to get back to Kentucky Kingdom. I'd been once before in middle school. I think it was 2007 or 2008. So I was really excited to get back and get out there. And I've got mixed reviews. I've got mixed feelings about it.
Yeah, I agree.
It could be great, but there's some pretty big cons as well.
Yeah, with a lot of parks that we go to, it's more of like we've done this series a couple times where we talk about the great, the good, and the ugly, because it's mostly amazing with the occasional thing that's bad. Kentucky Kingdom, you could do the good, the bad, and the ugly, or maybe the great, the bad, and the ugly, but there's more bad than good, or about as equal amount to bad or good. It just is going to come down to, what you weigh more than other things. So we both got 4 new credits on our trip. As he said, he hadn't gone since 7th grade. I hadn't gone ever. So we came in with a kind of blank slate, just kind of new experience for both of us. More new for me, obviously, but still pretty much new for him. I walked in thinking that it was going to be comparable to my home park, Holiday World, because it's a small park with some really good roller coasters, and it could not have been. It can't be further away from what Holiday World is. To be honest, the vibe at Kentucky Kingdom is fairly non-existent. If anything, it might be a negative vibe. The Halloween was cute, and there was some cool stuff for that. But I'll just jump into my first kind of big con I had with the park, and I've never seen it quite this bad anywhere. And it was just a lack of enthusiasm from the workers and the operators. Some weren't even talking and just sending out trains. Just not. It seemed like 80% of the people there just didn't care about their job at all. And it was very questionable to me. I don't mean to just absolutely roast the place, but they were training people when we were there, and those people seemed excited. But some of the long-term people, especially on their flagship coasters, were just,
it was tough.
It was subpar on that, at least. What do you think to that?
We went on the opening night of their pumpkins at Kentucky Kingdom. And I say that, albeit it was a Thursday, but I still say it's their opening night of an event. And you think that there's going to be, if it's their opening night, it's the first go around, and it's going to be good. Everyone's ready for it. Everyone's excited. And I think that there were 2 people in that park who were with Kentucky Kingdom that were excited. And I'm going to give them praise before I just go into it. Not good. The magician and the magician's assistant were the only 2 people that I felt had any enthusiasm.
And those people are like contracted workers. They're not even everyday stays. It's just, I went to the opening night of that Holiday World event with their Halloween kind of, and we went to the second weekend of Cedar Point. And it's just different. Everyone's just so much more excited to be at these other places than Kentucky Kingdom, and it really, really brings the vibe down when you're there to have a great time, and then the people just don't care.
At first, I tried to give a benefit of the doubt, because if you've been to Kentucky Kingdom, you know that the park's kind of separated into a road goes straight through the middle of the park. And so I did feel like the vibe was better on the entry portion. That's where a lot of the trick-or-treating was taking place, things like that. And, a bunch of kids having a good time. That was good. But once you got to the second half across the road, which is where one of the main three coasters were, and one of the top tier coasters that we'll get into, there was construction going on over there. And so I'll give the benefit of the doubt that there's fences up, it's kind of dead over there, not much going on. So the vibe obviously not going to be helped there. But once you get to the main attractions, typically whenever you go to an amusement park, in the station, you'll hear kind of two things. All clear, enjoy your ride on Storm Chaser. And you go out the station and you have a good time. And then whenever you enter the station again, typically the ride operator
How was
will
your
ask,
ride?
how was your ride? Everybody will clap or won't if it was a bad ride. That didn't happen.
No.
In fact, we were sitting on Storm Chaser and just started rolling. No all clear, nothing from the ride operators. They didn't want to be there.
For a ride that's as good as that one, to have that is just cruel to the world.
It's sad.
It's really sad. I mean, I mean, we'll kind of jump into this now because it's such an interesting point. Marcus said that he thinks that would be the number one ride at Kings Island, which is one of the best parks in the country. Yet they got that ride, and the operators don't care about what's going on. It's just it's pretty sad. It's pretty sad. Big problem, big like it just kind of breaks your spirit when you're there to have fun, and you know, you spend money to go ride some roller coasters, and then it's just like, yeah, we don't care to be here. It's whatever.
That's what's frustrating for me as a Kings Island homer, is that I look at a park like Kentucky Kingdom, and they have what I think is an elite coaster in Storm Chaser. And I wish that my home park would get that. Maybe that'll come within a future announcement. But you look at it and it's like, is an elite coaster like Storm Chaser wasted at Kentucky Kingdom? But then again, you brought the valid point of, well, maybe it's not wasted because that actually brings people to Kentucky Kingdom. If they didn't have that, then
yeah. But do they deserve it?
No, they don't deserve it.
Yeah,
no.
They don't.
That's not to take away from the really good experience that Storm Chaser was. I loved it. It was a phenomenal coaster. I guess we can kind of go down our rankings a little bit of what the coasters would be. There are only 4 main ones. It's going to be Storm Chaser number 1, Lightning Run 2.
And those big step down, those two are both. I mean, Storm Chaser's an incredible ride. Lightning Run's also a very, very good ride. Huge step down, good family coaster in Kentucky Flyer. Honestly, it was enjoyable. I mean, it's Gravity Group. It's really smooth. It's very good. And then a pretty big step down to Thunder Run, which, you know, it's not the worst coaster I've ever ridden, but it doesn't really do anything.
It's just kind of there.
It's just kind of there, exactly. So honestly, not a bad lineup for and there was a kiddie coaster that we didn't do, but for 4 major rides, not a bad lineup at all. I had no problem with the lineup.
It is a very good lineup. I think I was expecting more.
Yeah.
I
with
don't know.
The coasters or with the whole experience?
Just the whole experience.
Yeah. I thought the coasters were definitely
I know that was not
expecting.
Not a critique on the coasters whatsoever. Yeah. In fact, the Storm Chaser and Lightning Run blew my expectations beyond again. That's why I kind of say, how in the world does Kentucky Kingdom have these 2 coasters? Yeah. Those coasters would fit perfect just at any major park. And I even got a guest survey emailed to me after the fact, and I kind of went on a rant.
Yeah, I went on. I usually try to provide some constructive feedback when I get those 2, and I did. And again, I'm sure it's stuff that they know. This park was going to go out of, this park did go out of business they got closed down for years, and then
used to be owned by Six Flags. That's wild.
And then reopened up, and now Hershon is, I know they want to take strides to go in the right places, but I just think my home park being Holiday World, and just how much I know that they vet their, and it's like how they get their employees, and how it's like it's a pretty hard, like you have to be a pretty good candidate to get the position, and it shows how you have people that want to be there, are excited and everything. And it's just, Whereas Kentucky Kingdom, I don't know if they don't pay well or what it is, but it's just not impressive.
Whenever I go to Kings Island, I typically will see ride operators in line that I've seen before. They're
Yeah.
riding and they're not on their shift. They're there to have fun. These people would not be at Kentucky Kingdom if they weren't there to get a paycheck, and that's fine, completely fine. You don't have to be an enthusiast to be a ride operator, but my one thing is I just wish that there was just a little bit more pep in the step, and that ultimately falls back to just the managerial side of it, the park operations from the front office.
It just seems like the minor leagues comparing it to
Yeah,
other
yeah.
parks, for
It's
sure.
not in the same echelon at all
Uh,
as Holiday World, as Kings Island, as anything like that.
I mean, honestly, like just speaking non rides, just everything else. It's probably the worst park I've ever been to. I'd say that might be harsh, but
I haven't been to the most parks, but out of the ones I've been to, I would have to
yeah.
agree.
Another big problem I had is the one. It was they were running one train on every single roller coaster that we went on, so it was just it wasn't a busy day, and it was so slow. The lines that we like the three train wait on the line ended up being 10 minutes because of the them only doing one train on everything.
And it didn't help. Not only was it one train operations, but it was 3 to 5 minute dispatches.
Yeah,
So
that's
not,
what it was, one train operations with people that it seemed like they just started dispatching yesterday. So
unfortunately, such great roller coasters, horrible operations.
yeah, um, food was pretty good. Honestly, I
Yep.
was surprised because I heard the food's just average theme park food. I mean, it
The
was in a
cinnamon
sense, except for
bread.
the cinnamon bread, which is like a Hershey thing. But even I just had chicken tenders. I don't know, it felt like being just basic, and they were good. They weren't bad at all. So
Flatbread pizza for us, for Taylor and I, and it was really good. No quarrels with it. Um, I mean, I was actually pleasantly surprised. I do think the Six Flags Cedar Fair food is a step up, but man, that cinnamon bread was on a league of its own. It
yeah,
was good.
it's really good for sure, and that's more of like a that they brought that over from all the Hershey parks. I know Dollywood's
Yeah,
super famous for that.
yeah.
Again, going back to the positives, the roller coasters they do have are great. Storm Chaser on its own, we can kind of give its own segment. It's just at first it was good. It did run a little bit slow. I was a little like, I know it's an RMC. They need to warm up, but oh my, by nighttime it was incredible. It was running so anyone that just I feel like people that say that Storm Chaser's overrated because I have heard that before. They just need to get it on a night ride where it's been warmed up. It was incredible. Like the airtime was just insane, and the pacing was just it feels so much faster than it's got like Voyage vibes when it comes to feeling way faster than it actually is going because it feels like you're going 70, 80 through the layout.
I think it's only like just, yeah,
51, 52, something
early
like that.
50s. Yeah, it's not super fast, and I I agree. I feel like our daytime rides, and also I think we rode like the second or third train of the night.
Yeah. Which we
We
got
we
there
were
like 20, 30 minutes after they opened. It's in the back corner of the park and no
Yeah,
one was there. So,
yeah. So it was definitely, um, definitely slower, and I got off. Obviously, it was good, but it really solidified itself as a top five coaster for me. Um, with those night rides, those night rides were incredible. It wasn't obviously. I'm not going to sit here and say that, oh, it's a night ride because it's out and back, and it's not. You're in downtown Louisville essentially. The airport's close by. There's a lot of lights, so it's not like it's a pure
yeah.
black night ride, but
It's
it was
more
still
of the
really good.
speed of the train being
Yes,
so much faster.
yes, and it was. It really was. I loved being able to go down the hill and flip into the hill going down. That was a new element for me. I don't think I've had experienced that on a coaster.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. The airtime was hitting like RMCs do, and yeah, I mean, I completely agree.
Lightning Run, the airtime was you didn't even get a ride at that night. I rode last train of the day, I think. Me
Yeah,
and Taylor were on and it was oh man, it was The airtime was insane on it. It was a great time. I think it's in my top 15. Just missed out on my top 10. I really liked it. So
It's in my top 20, but I don't think I didn't have that positive experience like you. I wish I had that last memory of it, because I know how much the night ride could have changed it. So,
yeah,
but man, those two rides, standout coasters. I love what they do. And I will say Lightning Run, even on the day run, I think it was, again, first or second train of the night, and it still rode really
and
good.
Kentucky Flyer is a really good family coaster for sure.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of. It's actually really thrilling for a family coaster.
I felt like it accomplished what it was meant to accomplish.
For that size of a park, the lineup is good. It's really good. Really, the fact that a park that size has an RMC is insane, and a Chance Hyper GTX, which is crazy how that there's not another one of those built. There will be soon, but not yet.
It was smooth, very smooth too.
Yeah, I just again, it kind of comes down to the pros and cons. We kind of went over the cons. We went over the pros. That leads us back to the question: is Kentucky Kingdom worth it? Obviously, it is a little subjective on what you can get tickets, how much it costs. And it also is a little subjective because I know their water park is open in their admission fee. We didn't pay as much as we would have for the water park. I think our tickets were only $25 or $20. So
Yeah.
it wasn't too bad. We're more basing it off of if you went for a full day and paid like $50. Would it be worth it? Would it be worth it? What do you think, Marcus?
Once, yeah, sure. Once every couple of years, maybe. But yeah, for our price point, I would pay that price point again next year, and let's go. Let's have a good time. But if I'm spending $50, I am not going to Kentucky Kingdom, except every so often. I've gotten my fix. We rode Storm Chaser an ample amount of time. If we don't get to it next year, we don't get to it next year. And I even said in the feedback that I gave on the survey, take it to the next level. The fact that this park is owned by Hershend gives me hope, because Dollywood is on its own tier.
Silver
Silver
Dollar
Dollar City as well. There is hope for this park if they are able to continue making not necessarily roller coaster and ride investments. If they can make the proper investments in other ways, yes, it will be.
That's the difference. Most people, they have to get the rides there and everything. They've got the rides. They
They've
just need
got
the
them.
stuff to go around the rides and staff. I think it's worth going on a night like we went and just marathoning Lightning Run and Storm Chaser.
Yep.
No way I would pay a full admission price for what the product you're getting. If there were any crowds there at all when we went, it would have been a not good experience.
Yeah.
If we only got on Storm Chaser like twice, it'd have been a big waste of time and money. I think if you're in the area or you need a half day park scheduled on a trip and you just want to get on two really good roller coasters, sure. But if you're expecting to have a full day of fun, and get your money's worth, definitely not for Kentucky Kingdom. They just have as you kind of said, they just have a long way to go to kind of become a park that's worth being a destination for a day to me. So
I definitely think
especially when you have Kings Island, you have Holiday World, like within 2 hours of both. Just go to one of those parks. They're a lot better. You get both. You get great rides both places, and you get way better vibes and a way better experience overall.
It's quite literally a pit stop. I think you said it best. If you're on your way to a destination park and you need to split up the drive, make a pit stop at Kentucky Kingdom, or just drive right by it if you have to and you don't have time.
Yeah, you can stop on. I mean, don't get me wrong. Storm Chaser is a great ride. Amazing.
Storm Chaser's awesome. It's top 5 for me.
Lightning Run also a great ride, but the rest left some to be desired.
I look forward to the future of this park, and I hope that the proper investments are made, because it will be worth it then. But as it currently stands, no, not worth it.
I agree. So that's what we think of Kentucky Kingdom. What do you think? Do you think Kentucky Kingdom's worth it? Did we just trash your home park and you're mad at us? Just let us know in the comments. And of course, we'll answer back like always. Otherwise, just make sure to subscribe, to follow, turn notifications on. Be ready when we We drop videos, drop
Yeah.
TikToks, you know,
Now
on
we're building the TikTok community, still continuing to add followers and new subscribers as well, having conversation on there. So that's the best place to talk to us and let us know how wrong we are or how
or
right
how
we
right
are.
we are. Yeah. All right.
So.
Well, you all have a good one. Until next time. See you later.